Raghav Chadha, why are you so vehemently opposing what he said?
Mr. Surjewala is also a bright spokesperson of the Congress, so I would like to ask him to read the Article 239 AA again, because 239 AA per se doesn't restrict the Delhi Assembly to introduce any legislation on the floor of the House, and it says that there is no need for it to be cleared by the central government. What it says is that it needs to be ratified by the President once it's cleared by the Assembly.
Okay.
So Article 239 AA doesn't really say this.
Okay, so we won't discuss the fine print of Article 239 AA, but Shaina NC, what I want to ask you is, every once in a while, political parties crib about these archaic laws. Here is a party which, with a difference, like Raghav Chadha says, which wants to do things in a new fashion. Why can't you cut them some slack?
Well, let me start by saying that this so-called party with a difference, the difference is this, that they don't believe in a democracy. The difference is this, that they believe in an anarchy. Please understand that there is a rule of mob and there is a rule of law. We live in a civilized society governed by certain constitutional guidelines, and we need to abide by it. If you believe that in every single aspect, whether it's your law minister using a rule of mob, or whether it is your chief minister taking pot shots at others within the system, whether it is him inculcating this lawlessness which is to suggest to the common man that do not pay what is rightfully due to the government, isn't this all a form of anarchy? And then you have this tokenism where they suggest that the words used may be questionable but the intent is not. Please understand that if the public of Delhi voted, they voted for a mandate on leadership, a mandate on stability, and a mandate which follows systems and laws and practices.
And Raghav Chadha, that is a point. Why is your party always in trouble with the law? Whether it be Mr. Somnath Bharti, whether it be his altercation, his lawyer's altercation with the DCW, or now what Mr. Ashutosh has said. If you have the right intent, it can be implemented even within the boundaries of law and the constitution, can't it?
Well, what you classify as anarchy, I think, dialogue, discussion, dharnas, all these things are fundamental to the very functioning of democracy. They are important in order to create...
We're not classifying it. Your chief minister said, yes, I'm an anarchist. It's what he said. The choice of words is his.
That was sarcasm. If you can't understand sarcasm, then that's not my prerogative. But the point is that these initiatives are required to strengthen the very functioning of democracy. Now, the very fact that he said that I'm an anarchist was when he was protesting in order to bring in the Delhi police within the ambit of the state government. What he was demanding was that independent inquiry of certain policemen should happen. So what is wrong in that? Look at the principles and look at the non-violent ways in which we protest, if at all we protest. I mean, I think all of us should take a step back and look at the larger cause. Look at the way the Aam Aadmi Party government is performing. Okay. It has been a flawless ride until now. Whatever we have promised, we have started delivering. I would say, almost delivered most of the promises.
And Jan Lokpal, the Loka Yukta bill was also a part of the manifesto. Is needed, we got even if these measures, the moves that they are making are really out of the box, at least they're making a difference.
See, there have been three different elections in Delhi. The BJP won one of them, they were elected to the MCD. The Congress won all the 7 seats for the Lok Sabha. The Aam Aadmi Party has a majority or have a government in the Assembly. Now, each three of these groups, if they start acting beyond the Constitution, beyond the domains for which they were elected, I think you will have nothing but anarchy. What he is arguing is that since we have a popular mandate, we have a right to do anything we please. Now, tomorrow the Supreme Court has, today the Supreme Court has passed a certain order vis-a-vis the electric undertakings. Now, are you going to violate that also? That it's a populist measure, this was part of our manifesto, we don't care what the Supreme Court says. Now, there are certain institutions, they say that my nose ends where your nose begins. So, the point is, you have to all operate within the boundaries of the Constitution and the law. And the Delhi government, unfortunately, is not a full state government. It is still a union territory. Let us remember that. It doesn't have a full-fledged governor.
Okay.
It has a lieutenant governor who acts on delegated powers from the President of India.
Okay, Raghav Chadha, there are a number of institutions which your party has spoken out against, the Lieutenant Governor's office being only the most recent one. You've also shot down an observation made by a trial court against Somnath Bharti as a flawed one. So which institution do you really think is functioning okay, who you have faith in?
Well, see, I would not want to raise fingers on any particular institution, but what I'm saying is that the people who are occupying that offices are in some sense being pressurized, or are in some sense being tried to be convinced to work in a certain manner. This is what we are against. We are for strengthening these institutions in order to evolve such mechanisms which would really lead to better governance,
okay,
and make these institutions practice or govern in a manner which is independent, accountable and empowered. So rather than just debating that we are raising fingers on a particular institution, we should debate the person who is occupying this a particular office, how he is being coerced or being influenced, and get into the nitty-gritties. And in order to remove this,
okay,
you have to bring in different legislations, you have to make some democratic changes, you have to make some alterations, and that is precisely what we are doing.
All right, so the Aam Aadmi Party has made its mission clear. They're going to shake up the institution. If there is a rot somewhere in any institution, they are going to make sure there are changes. They don't really care for the rules. Thanks very much for joining us on this debate. Raghav Chadha, Randeep Singh Surjewala, Shaina NC and Umesh Sehgal. The confrontation is still ongoing. Of course, the Aam Aadmi Party is quite clear. They will pass the Jan Lokpal bill